Hello and welcome to the Hawkeye's coverage of the Mount Terrace High School Executive ASB Elections 2014. I'm Nick Fiorillo from the Hawkeye, and I welcome you to the 2014 ASB President Candidates Forum. This forum is brought to you by the Hawkeye, the student news source of Mount Terrace High School. Production considerations are provided by HBN. There will be 4 topics on which candidates will answer questions. Each candidate will deliver a 2-minute opening statement prior to questioning. Candidates will have 1 minute to respond to the question. After each candidate has answered the question in the 1-minute segment, the candidate will then have 2 minutes for open dialogue about the topic. To end the forum, candidates will each deliver a 1-minute closing statement. Many people offered ideas for questions and topics through social media and other mediums, but the Hawkeye editorial board made the final decision on all questions and topics for this forum. Those are the rules. Let's begin. We now welcome the candidates for president, Taron Castleton and Cody Bowman. We go first to opening statements. Decided by a random drawing prior to the forum, Taron Castleton will go first. Mr. Castleton, please make your opening statement. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Nick. Well, as you guys may know, my sophomore year, I was sophomore class president, which is a huge role in the upcoming prom for 2015, so that was a big role. And then now this current year, I've been the public relations officer in the executive council. Now currently we only have 2 members of the executive council that are running again, so I find it extremely important that we have as much experience in the ASB as possible, especially with the ASB president role, which is a huge job. It's considered to be the highest position in the entire school. Now, I think that it's extremely important that we find somebody with the proper experience for this position.
Thank you. Mr. Bowman, please make your opening statement.
Hi, I'm Cody Bowman, currently sophomore class treasurer. ASB has been a big thing for me in school. I've been doing it since I was in elementary school, always trying to be involved in helping people. And I feel like as being Big Six president, I would have a chance to better represent people in a really good position. I'm just excited that I might have the chance to do that.
Our first topic is regarding ASB fiscal health. Mr. Castleton will answer first. How can ASB generate more funds to support clubs, academics, sports, and extracurricular activities? Is raising costs for students the answer? You have 1 minute.
Nick, I believe that raising the cost is not the answer. As you know, and I know, that both budget cuts have been a large factor in our sporting events and clubs. I don't think that raising the cost anymore can help us. It'll reduce the number of people participating, and that's not what our school wants. I believe that we need to stay at a constant rate so that our funding can stay good, but it won't affect the students here. As you know, the vending machines will now be shut down during the school hours. So it's very important, because that was a large amount of our revenue, that we start to implement more fundraising opportunities. Quite recently, we had a Goodwill donations fundraiser, which I participated in. I spent 4 hours last Saturday trying to fill an entire box truck for the event. The ASB was able to raise $500 to contribute to the sports and clubs of our school. I think that more events like this should be implemented, and that's one of the things that I strive for as ASB president.
Mr. Bowman, same question to you.
Yeah, I feel like raising the prices wouldn't really help at all. I think it would just make it worse, because there are already some people that aren't really getting involved because of some of the prices, and I mean raising it a lot more would just make it really tough on a lot of people. So I feel like if we could do more fundraisers, get students involved in fundraisers to make it easier for them, that would be great, because then we wouldn't have to raise the price and make it hard for everyone.
Now we'd like to give you 2 a chance to talk about the subject of fiscal responsibility. The floor is yours for 2 minutes.
Well, recently we had a fundraiser involving hats and scarves. Now this was not as successful as we had intended, but we would like to implement more fundraisers such as TOLO, events that can include students and give them an experience that they may enjoy for a low cost, like $5. We believe that low cost and high enjoyment is very important, and that we want to do fundraisers that can get students involved but not actually fiscally hurt them. Now, we do fundraise like this to help support the sports and the clubs, so entirely your money is just going back into yourself.
Yeah, I feel that it's really good that we're doing a lot of fundraisers, and I hope that in the future we can get more advertisement to get these more students involved in getting these, like the scarves and the hats. Those are great items, and I feel like a lot more people would be willing to buy them if they could hear about them more. And it's a good thing that they're low prices. It makes them easy for people, and it's a great thing for people.
Our next topic is regarding inclusivity. Mr. Bowman, you will answer first this time. How would you include as many students as possible in the decision-making process for ASB? How will you make sure that student voices are heard? You have 1 minute.
I feel like a good way to get students' voices to be heard is to have like a box at lunch or somewhere easy for students to get to, so they could write down their ideas and put them in there for ASB to see, so they don't have to go out of their way to talk to people if they're uncomfortable doing that. Because I feel like that would make it a lot easier for people who are nervous to go and talk to people to share their opinions. And another way that we could get people more involved is maybe to find a way for them to get involved in the voting process of ASB, so that before ASB makes a final decision, they can have more of a say in it.
Mr. Castleton, same question to you.
Well, I also believe that we need to get more students included into the process of voting. But I'm not entirely sure that asking every single student what their opinion is the best idea. I had an idea provided to me that we could go to each of the club presidents and ask for their input on a topic going on with this school. I believe that the presidents can represent the people in each club so that we can get a larger majority of the student body. I think that it's really important that we get as many people involved as possible, but in the best way and most effective way that we can, by asking their presidents.
Once again, we'll give you 2 minutes to discuss the topic of inclusivity regarding ASB. You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, I like a lot of Taron's ideas about going to the presidents of the clubs to get to students more easily. I think that's a great idea, and that'd be something we should do. And all the ideas that we've had, I mean, it'll be great that if we could find better ways to get students more involved.
I really want to encourage people to get involved, but I also recognize that students' interests might not always correspond to what I am interested in. That's why I encourage students to be involved in the sports and clubs that they're interested in. You might be involved in art club, and I'm not a part of it, but I still want your input, and that's why I would talk to you or your president to get your input and what you want done with Mountlake Terrace.
Our next topic is regarding the ASB Constitution. Mr. Castleton, you will answer first. Why is the Constitution important to the student body? What changes would you recommend be made to the Constitution, if any?
Well, Nick, it's actually interesting that you asked that, because last year, as sophomore class president, I was part of the committee that edited the new Constitution for the upcoming year. One of the first things to do on my agenda as the 2015 ASB president will be to implement the new Constitution. There's many aspects of it that need to be revised and edited, because there's slight errors that don't correspond to the Mountlake Terrace school that is today. Now, I believe that these edits need to be changed as soon as possible.
Mr. Bowman, same question to you.
Yeah, the ASB Constitution, it's a great document for us to have because it gives us a set of rules that we can use. But having a document like that with errors in it makes it hard for us to really do everything as well as we can. And I feel like if we can get those errors corrected, that it would make the school a better place and easier for ASB to help all the student body.
Now you'll have 2 minutes to discuss the ASB Constitution. The floor is yours.
One of the aspects that I found while studying the ASB Constitution is that currently cheerleaders are not allowed to participate in fall or winter sports. Now, I find this extremely unfair because they're able to participate in ASB. As an ASB president, I feel like I would have more leverage in communicating with administration to allow them rights to fall sports or winter sports so that they could participate in what they're interested in.
Yeah, I feel like if we could find a way to come through the Constitution and find all the errors, then we'd be able to have a better environment for everyone that's correct and has all the rules correctly written down for ASB to see, and hopefully we could find ways for ASB to better use the document.
Our final topic for the forum is activism. Mr. Bowman, you will answer first. Does it concern you that many positions are unopposed for executive ASB? How will you increase participation in student government and student decisions? You have 1 minute.
Yeah, it concerns me a lot that a lot of positions are going unopposed, because that's what's been a lot for me throughout my ASB career. And it's nice to be unopposed for some people, because then you know you're gonna win, but then you know that there are other people aren't getting involved, and that's sad, because people shouldn't have to feel scared or nervous to run for ASB when it's something that everyone can do if they really try. It doesn't get in the way of everything that you do so much if you really keep yourself organized, and I feel like it'd be great if more people would do it.
Great. Mr. Castleton, same question to you.
Well, I find that competitivism is very important in a school. I encourage people to compete against each other, and it does discourage me a little bit that there is a couple positions that are running unopposed. But I believe that most of the people running for their position are extremely suited for this, and they're prepared and ready for the job that's coming to them. I believe that it's important to encourage as many students as possible to do clubs and events, but if you're not interested in ASB, then you don't have to try out for ASB. I encourage as many people to do it as they possibly can. I think that it's a wonderful experience. You learn leadership skills and you learn how to budget. It's super important to any person's future and life to know how to lead. And I encourage anybody that's interested in doing ASB to do ASB. But if you want to do another club, I invite you to do that club as well.
Once again, you will have 2 minutes to discuss activism at MTHS.
Yeah, I feel like ASB it's not for everyone, obviously. Some people don't feel comfortable doing the things that people in ASB do. And that's great, because then we wouldn't be as diverse a community as we are. I think it's great that there's so many clubs for other people. But I also feel like there's a lot of people who are nervous or scared to do the stuff they want to do because they don't feel like they'd be good at it or just don't want to get involved. And I feel like it'd be better if we could find ways to reach out to people who are like that.
I think that it's important to try to be involved in as many things as you can be when you're in high school. But if you're not interested in something, then nobody's going to push you to do what you don't need to do. So if you have something outside of school that you're interested in, I entirely support that.
That concludes our question and conversation portion of this forum. Candidates will now have 1 minute to make a concluding statement. Mr. Castleton, please make your concluding statement first.
Well, as ASB president, I believe that I can make an immense change at our school. I believe that there's a couple flaws that need to be fixed, and that they're not hard as long as we all gather together in Mount Lake Terrace to fix them. With experience that I've received from past years and past positions, I believe that this is extremely possible, and we can do our best to make Mount Lake Terrace a better place.
Mr. Bowman, please make your concluding statement.
And I'm glad to be able to be here to talk to you guys and get what I think about the school. I feel like being ASB president would be a great opportunity for me to help you guys have it better. And I hope that you'll consider voting for me when the time comes, because I feel like I could have a lot of things I can add to making ASB better, and being president would be a good position for me. Even though I'm just a sophomore this year and will be a junior next year, I don't think that inhibits me from making good decisions for the school.
That concludes this forum. Thank you to the candidates and to HBN for production considerations. Be sure to see all of the Hawkeyes coverage for ASB Executive Elections 2014 online at thehawkeye.org.